Hello everyone and welcome back to the Triple Crown Wargaming Studio, where you join me the Loremaster and him the Chieftain and this rather exciting empty chair for another instalment of Loose Warhammer. Today's guest is the champion of the Wildwood, a man whose hobby legendariness precedes him whilst he attends the Triple Crown Wargaming Studio. So, may I present Mr. Carl Blackthorne! I'm doing some clapping. Other people get to clap.
I think there's all the claps in the world.
Thank you for joining us on Loose Warhammer.
Very
How
nice.
are you?
Very nice colour contrast here as well. From our black shirts to the very
well, because the gold is our accent colour, and Carl's gone for that.
I'm very bold, and I feel like it shows in my outfit today.
I think you've made some fantastic life choices.
Just to impress.
I'm mixing up a bowl of snow so that we can get this army that you're going to fight on a future battle report ready to be used.
You can put it in post, right, Max?
Put it in post?
Yeah. Put the base in on post-production.
It's nice and easy, just, yeah.
Just about get the base, I'll just get the editing done as is anyway.
Yeah, just about getting done sounds a good description of this channel.
What comes out first? It's this that comes out
this
first.
Comes out first.
Yes, this comes out first.
This comes out first.
Oh, no spoilers then.
That's why it's been filmed first. So, thank you for joining us.
No, of course. It's, I've been waiting for the invite for years, honestly.
Years. We've been disgusting in our shunning of you, it appears. So.
I've been on the list, I think.
You've been on this for a very long time.
The list is really large now. It's quite nice that people want to come and hang out with us. It's really cool.
I just want my moment in the spotlight so that my views are heard by the people.
Spoken like a true politician.
But this is the biggest platform I'm ever going to get. So let's take it while we got it.
The massive community that we have entitled to ourselves.
To be fair, the community is pretty large now. It's pretty amazing.
There's some people knocking about and they just love Warhammer. And honestly, who else is doing it?
Well, I mean, it's hard to find people that aren't us. Sorry about that.
We are extraordinary.
Have you gamed the algorithm? Have you just shuttered out the competition?
I really wish I understood technology enough to know what those words that you just said mean.
Algorithm? What's an algorithm?
Wasn't he a Primarch? I'm so confused.
Oh,
I don't like change. Right, Max, do you just mix this up and put it on? You don't dip it afterwards?
Mix it up and then sprinkle some dry
So
ice.
in a very real sense, you do dip it.
You said dip, I sprinkle. Two differences right there.
Right, well, here we go.
Yeah, you get a lot of stick for your basing, but I think it's one of the best I've seen.
Oh, cheers, man. Can you tell
Today.
Yeah, and honestly, there isn't a lot of basing going on today, so...
Can you look in the camera and tell that to Scott, please?
No.
I always love it when people compliment my painting over his.
No.
I do also enjoy that.
The Duke and I are birds of a feather.
Birds of a feather!
I'd never turn against him.
Never hurt him.
I couldn't. He's so innocent, right?
Easy.
Right? That's the impression I get.
I don't know what kind of impression you get from
Like he's
that.
like the golden child.
The golden child of the channel.
Nice guy of Triple Crown Wargaming.
He can do no wrong, is what I've heard.
I mean...
You on the other hand.
Yes, there may have been some mishaps in the past on my channel. Let's put it that way. I may have made some missteps in holding on to vital video footage.
Let's not talk about the deletes. I know what that word means.
I deleted Tribal by accident.
Did you?
Yeah.
Who? Can you tell the people what it was?
Yeah, because Scott put me out there on the comment section.
He absolutely dunked you.
He dunked me in it. Yeah, it was the monstrous inventory trial by combat I accidentally deleted because I thought we'd already done it, or thought we'd already used it on channel.
Didn't bother to check whether we'd actually uploaded it first.
No.
So now I, like everyone else, have been awaiting that one. So really, you've ruined everyone's day.
No, because it
filmed it.
Because it came with Minotaur Supremacy, because that's what everyone wants.
Minotaur Supremacy.
No,
I forgot about that.
I like.
I forgot about that crippling wound.
I'd like to see some Treekin, but if anyone owns any, that would be.
James,
I've got quite a lot of them.
You own like some of the actual ones or the AOS ones?
I've got lots of what they call Kurnoff Hunters in AOS, which are just plastic Treekin.
Because I bought Scott 6 of them for a Secret Santa once, and obviously he gave you his entire all-up collection.
He didn't give me it. We swapped a collection for a collection. He got a very nice Bretonnian army, which I'd never painted, was never going to get painted, and then he got it painted by someone else. So he also wasn't ever going to paint it, clearly.
To be honest, he always goes on about how he wishes he still had his wood elves.
I've offered him the swap back. Now he's got really nicely painted. You know what I mean?
Now that he's paid to have it painted, they're like, you wouldn't want him back.
Shh, you're very judgmental.
Yeah, leave him alone. He's the good
Oh,
boy.
here we go.
Have you tried highlighting figures, Max? It's been 10 minutes. I haven't busted your chops for painting yet.
No, and you said in the car that Demon Prince did look nice.
The Demon Prince
It does,
is really
yeah.
lovely. That's why I've started with him.
I'm
He's
kind of with you though.
Really nice.
I haven't got time to waste on highlighting.
No.
It's not. I've got better life things to do.
So have you been converted over to the kind of contrast train? As
Absolutely. If you look in front of me, it's all it is.
It's all contrast.
It does
all
the
time.
job. It does the first couple bits for you, which is sort of, when you're an adult, a real human adult,
You need help.
you need help with little
So
with
do
time
you,
management.
Do you find you go back and highlight? Genuinely, this is a revelation
I
to me
think-
because contrast is something that's been out for like 9 years. So obviously, I'm only just looking at it now.
I think it works fantastically with just little dry brushes, little picking the edges instead of actively going in and highlights. I feel like you overdo it because it's already it's
Dry
already
brush.
bringing out the edge there.
Yeah,
It's
to
a
be
dry
fair.
brush.
Yeah, see, Max,
Come
he's
on.
got this aversion to dry brushing. I've said I'll teach him. I feel like it's embarrassing for both of us that I've got to teach him to dry brush.
I think dry brushing it's
Dry brushing is fundamental.
it's nice and fun, little easy.
I've never used it. In the period
It's such a useful technique.
in my formative years of Warhammer, I was playing Tyranids with bright orange and black, so there was no need to dry
Oh
brush.
yeah,
So
the
I never,
Duracell Tyranids.
so I never learned how to dry brush.
Well, the guy who taught me how to paint, that was all he ever did. So that was sort of my introduction to painting was get a big brush and slap it until it's got a bit of detail.
It's got barely anything on it, and,
Yeah.
then wipe all over the model.
Yeah, and then you know what? It worked for Space Marines,
It
but
does.
unfortunately, I'm not painting Space Marines currently. So
I mean, to be honest, if it was Space Marines, you'd be able to pump out an entire battle company in an hour, wouldn't you?
yeah, well,
From the rate at which I've seen you paint, mate.
currently it's it's getting faster.
Oh.
I'll say that.
God, it's gone everywhere. This place is too big.
If I get sprinkles on my model from that,
It's a total mess. Guys, the total mess. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm so glad you're doing it, because after that we've got 23 more chosen to base as well.
I'm not happy, guys. I'm not happy. I have recently purchased some contrast yellow because
this one.
yellow is very upsetting to paint. No, the one I picked up was I want to say Bad Moon.
Aye.
Yeah. So I was going to do a yellow dragon for you guys to see today. Instead, I'm going to base some chosen with some of this basing material. Everyone's having a great time.
You have been shanghaied.
But I've been really impressed with it, and then what I've done is gone back and I've over shaded parts of it with some Cassandora yellow, which really is like a sort of orangey colour, really.
Yeah.
And then put some pastel highlights on the tips. Nothing too exciting, just so I can like feather out the kind of quillions on the back. And I'm hugely impressed for that type of model. I don't know how I'd feel about it on. I don't know how it'd look on things like armour, but for like a big kind of fleshy thing, and again Max has done it on the demons, it looks so good on the demons.
Yeah.
Can really see that being like the place for it. So I think Scott's demons are contrast as well, aren't they? I think it's just my demons that aren't.
Yeah, I think yours are
The
the
ones that
only one.
aren't finished.
I say, have you actually got any of those painted?
Yeah, how dare you?
Have you?
How dare you?
How many?
I've got a Seeker Chariot of Sinesh painted.
Oh.
I've got a Herald of Sinesh painted.
Oh.
I've
You got the Max in the Mirror painted.
I've got the Max in the Mirror, which I've still not shown off on the channel. I do
You've
need to
not.
show that off. And I've got about 10 Demonettes painted. So with the Max in the Mirror, that's sort of like most of a unit. And I was actually making really good progress, even with the
Let's do this.
yeah, help yourself, mate. Even with the kind of the misery that was the fact that I wasn't contrasting mine. And then Michael Duff, the legend that he is, lent us his Slanesh for the channel, and I was like, oh, would you like to have a really beautifully painted, high quality Slanesh army for battle reports? Or would you like the version of that army that you ordered from Wish? So I stopped painting mine. We just use this now.
The biggest insult to someone is you're just a Wish version.
I'm literally just a Wish version of Michael Duff.
Turns
So-
up 6 or 7, 8 weeks later, and it's just not what you ordered.
Is not the same. It's trying its best, bless it. No offence to Wish. Good luck to you and everything that you produce for the internet.
I think they're doing all right.
Other places of purchase online are available.
Other places of purchase.
Places that you can make purchases. So yes, but the Wish joke's used up, and the reality is that his army's better than mine. So there you go. that's the moral of the story. You're a better painter. Cheers, mate. So yeah, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some high elves with you today.
I do. I've got.
Man of wealth and taste, I see.
Well, that is something I was a bit concerned because I'm coming on to hang out today, have a little chat, and like myself, you're very keen into high elves, but also vampires, and those are the only two armies I own. So I thought that the conversation might be a bit alienating
bit droll.
This little fella over here.
To be fair, I get it. I get what you're saying.
I own half those armies.
What
well,
you said,
do you though?
Yes.
those are the only two armies I own. What I heard, you just want to beat me. That's fine.
I love this fact that Carl has this aversion to owning more than 2 armies in a game. You have one for goods, one for evils. That's it.
You have one for good. Well, yeah, sort of. We won't go into the questionable loyalties of the Dark Angels, but that's neither here nor there. That's not what this is about. But I like having a good and a bad, and then just buy more for it, and then just run all of the varieties, which I'm not quite there for yet because I have a very controversial. Perhaps maybe people will agree with me, but I think that the Terrorgeist might be the ugliest model ever produced. So I refuse to own one.
I really like that figure.
Yeah,
Not just because of its cheesy utility on the battlefield,
I
but
feel
I
like
actually like the model.
There might have something to do.
I tell you what I did hate though, painting it.
Mm.
My goodness, that was awful to paint.
That's the sub-assembly job right there.
Yeah, I wish I'd sub-assembled. I built 2 of them and then was like, oh my goodness, I've got to paint these. This is awful. Getting the brush in, and you can see it all because it's so spindly, but getting the brush in there is a nightmare.
Well, I'll never have to worry about that because I'd rather do a lot of things than own one of those.
You like a reverse Chris Hale sort of thing?
Well, I don't know if that's a compliment, Max.
I don't know. I don't know if it's common because he refuses to use like special characters and stuff like that. So
Well, yeah,
that sort of vein.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, because you do like a special character.
I love it. To be honest, well, yeah, sort of. I love Heinrich Kemmler is the one character that I have just. I feel like he just represents me on the table.
All the characters represents you.
Brutal magical overlord.
Yeah, he lives in a nice little. Who does want to live in a nice little castle in the mountains? He's got all of his friends who can't ever leave him. And, every now and then he goes out on a little adventure.
On a little trip.
And that's what you used for Athel-Loren, wasn't it?
No, Athel-Loren I brought the Red Duke.
Oh, you bought the Red Duke. That was right, because he's kind of like a sort of a side piece of Kemmler, really, because they're both Bretonnia sort of.
Yeah,
based.
I mean he's there.
Necromantic villains, if you will.
He didn't do very much necromancy at it, and I'll tell you that. He mostly what happened was I cast Savage Beast of Horrors on him from the lovely little priest that came with him, and then he killed what he hit, and it was good. It was really good. It felt amazing.
He looked upon his works and it was good.
It was good.
Yeah. Before that, I very rarely actually ran a vampire at all. It was all necromancer based, and he was the first time that I ever ran anyone who even had Red Fury, and it felt
Great.
It felt wonderful. It was like I walk up to a regiment and it just wouldn't be there anymore.
Yeah, if you can get Savage Beast and on a Red Fury guy, it's very, very scary.
And the fact that there were like 12 Blood Knights with him didn't really matter by that stage because the job was done,
So I used that on the narrative report that we did, and it was absolutely brutal. It was very, very hard.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a certain accolade that Carl came away with that weekend. And
well, he had a very flavourful rule, I might say. I imagine you were involved in that.
Yeah, I mean, let's assume that I wrote it.
Where he could pick an individual in the enemy's army, and they would become. He'd have vicious hallucinations that was his
nemesis,
his brother from times yonder, and he would do anything to kill them. And honestly, he didn't really need the help. But every Louis that he selected,
every little help.
every Louis that he selected was pasted, +1 bonus one.
Killed 6 Louis.
Little bonus Louis.
6 Louis out of 5 would agree.
6 Louis over the course of the entire weekend fell to the Red Duke.
Yeah, and that was only because the first person I played, lovely fella, can't remember his name.
What was he using?
He was playing Bretonnians, and he was speaking in French a lot, which I thought was very cool. You know, if you know French, you play. You know, I don't want to bag on the French too much. We're just gonna not say very much. But he had a character named Louis. So not only
killed him as well.
Not only could I select a Louis, there was one pre-baked for me.
Already he's one I made earlier.
He brought a Louis with him. I was like, oh, this is fantastic news for the old Red Duke. He's going to have a whale of the time, and he did.
Double the Louis all the time.
Yeah. Knowing me, knowing Lou, if you will.
In that game, I got flanked by Grail Knights with my my Blood Knights.
Oh dear.
And I killed them all. And I was like, at that stage, I was like, oh, that's quite...
I really shouldn't laugh. That is well funny.
You said at the end of that weekend, you said, my Blood Knights charged only once throughout that entire
they
weekend.
charged once. And the thing they charged, what was left of some High Elf Spearmen was what they charged.
Well, that's a dangerous charge that they've made there.
Well, it's very pointy. The phalanx is not to be messed with.
If only they had rules in game against cavalry charges.
Only they did.
But but that was the only successful charge they made. Otherwise, they got charged by Swordmasters and Phoenix Guards simultaneously and won that as well.
That is wild.
So, and he does have voice strikes last year, Red Duke. So he was taking some hits from the Prince. He almost died
Before he decked Louis.
And well, yeah, that's what happened afterwards. But it was close. It was a close thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he had to put his big boy pants on at some point.
It really did. He genuinely, it was worrying because he came in and he was like, "Oh, I've got a big sword," and he hit me. He started crying.
He started crying.
Well, he hadn't really taken a wound up until that point, so wasn't used to it.
I don't know if you've ever read the Red Duke novel. He does some crying in that as well.
He has a... Well, we won't spoil it for people who are going to read it, because it's actually very good.
I call that the Jeremy Kyle moment. Now, I'm very aware that we're moving to a place where people aren't going to know who Jeremy Kyle is anymore, because he's been off TV for too long. But
big sad.
Yeah. It was a sort of talk show where people would find out the paternity...
That wasn't all of it.
Or they might sort of have like a serious issue they need to share or get a lie detector test done. It's very entertaining.
It was like the British discount Jerry Springer.
Yeah, it was British Jerry Springer, basically.
I wouldn't say discount. I think that's quite mean to him. No, that's his career you're talking about.
It's a man's career.
So, yes. So we I always felt it was very like that at the end, but yeah. I won't spoil it for people. It was a nice bit of family bonding.
And then you heartlessly brought him back for a campaign in the woods.
For enjoyment, for the pleasure of the gamers.
Yeah,
That's why I brought him back.
I don't know how many other Red Dukes there were, but I'm going to go on a limb here and say that none of them were as successful as...
I don't think they were going to be as successful as you. You did actually top that out, didn't you? You won Best Wildwood Player that weekend as well. So.
And I will always hold that. There can never be another one. It's only ever me. Me.
You are.
I am the best Wildwood man.
And you can still find that event pack on the download section of triplecrownwargaming.com if you're interested.
It's a very, very good one.
Checking it out or giving it a go. As we run up towards Araby this time, Araby Ablaze. Mm-hmm. So are you are attending that?
Absolutely. I'll never, if I can help it, never miss a narrative event. They are. I love Storytime. I know a lot of people maybe don't, but it's all I wait for. Honestly, the games are secondary to Storytime.
Storytime's great. I honestly, when I started with the Storytime event, so I was like, I don't know if this is going to be a format people go for.
I love the Storytime
because it is very geeky, right? It's very kind of, but people really seem to get on board with Storytime. They love it.
What I'm hearing is that the games are just there to pass the time between stories.
Well, something needs.
They fill the gap between the story times.
You need to inform the story with something. You know,
that's what you're buying your ticket for, ladies and gentlemen. Storytime.
Yeah. And honestly, it is fantastic. And I'm obviously going to this next one. I might be using High Elves because, I'll paint an entire army and not use it. This is actually the second time I'm using mostly models, which were originally painted. You'll see when it comes out, the Take the Crown. But I did paint an entire cavalry army for this narrative event, and then decided not to use it. So
Just because you can decide to at some point to say, I'm just not going to use this army at all.
Well, I feel like that's why I'm basing these, because I was told all week that it was an Orcs and Goblins game I was playing, and then shut up this morning and said, can you base these for a battle report? Okay.
Well, I was also under the impression it was going to be Awesome Goblins until I got home Friday evening and in various states. Looked at the models on my desk and thought, you know what? 50 Chosen's a lot of points that I don't need to paint a lot for.
it's true.
It's also cool, like, let's be honest, it is cool to see that volume of Chosen.
Well, have it someone has bought that volume of Chosen, or just?
I just think in general, like, you're a madman, but, I mean...
I think if there was ever a game to use it, this is the one. Because I'm not known for, taking... Well, I don't like Terrorgeist. I've only just started painting my 7-year-old Frostheart.
Yeah, you have been known to take a massive horde of Swordmasters with the big Chad himself, Teclis.
It won't be appearing today, unfortunately.
Oh, big sad.
But
Teclis is very good.
oh, he'll be
Very,
there.
very
Don't worry. Don't worry. He's always milling about.
He's always milling about. Big Chad.
I think very very similar to Kemmler. Loves to go on little journeys.
Loves to go on his little trips and everything like that.
He likes exploring, and so we often find him in odd places, like wherever we'll be fighting.
Probably some sort of desert-based land, I would have thought.
So,
just based on the basing of your army, if I'm honest with you.
it's not a far sail from Ulf-1, but I don't know how you got there.
I'm raiding.
Oh, Cowsport. Right?
Yeah. Cowsport, that's all it is.
Wizard did it. Never forget.
Wizards did it.
Not sure, Wizard did it.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember, though, that you have ventured far from the donut.
No, it's not that far. It's like a...
It's not actually that far.
It's not that far. It could be. I imagine the
turn in
donut,
total
the donut
war.
might even have some...
The donut might even have some desert in it.
I imagine Tiranock's got some wide open sandy places.
We are reaching.
Someone get that map. I'm sure there's sand somewhere.
Someone get that map. Someone look it up.
I love Ulfwan. I just think it's a really cool
It is, yeah.
territory in terms of the way that it's structured.
Wild Carl's here, though. It's not called Ulfwan. It's called the donut.
It's very donut shaped, you have to admit.
Absolutely. I think that's cool, though. You've got like the kind of inner kingdoms and the outer kingdoms.
Mhm.
That's a really cool... a sort of cool thing that you don't see as often.
It's like you see a lot of elves in fantasy with their sort of divisions, but you very rarely see them sort of. There's a big wall of mountains in the way, and that's why they're different. Instead of like, they live on the other side of the world, or they grew up like culturally different. They're all hanging out together. But if some of them feel like they want to go live in the woods for a couple hundred years, they bugger off to the outside of the donut.
Well, to be fair, you've got Avalon, haven't you? Which is very wooded. I think that's something that's really cool.
I feel like Avalon's a place that has a lot of rules, and maybe some sticklers would be, some sort of secret police going on there.
Secret police.
Yeah, what do you think the Sisters of Avalon are doing on their day off? You think they're just sitting around? No,
I don't know.
On their day off.
They're clearly like some sort of police force. Like you got to think there's like dryads there and all sorts of creepy monsters.
Well, so that's the thing that's really cool, isn't it? And obviously something that's not available in the game, but there is kind of tree men, because Durthu is originally in that forest, thousands of years before. So I think that's really cool. I really like Avalon as a setting. I'm so pleased that in the 8th book they kind of brought a lot more of that setting back.
Yeah. Oh, like they had the Queen and the Handmaidens and the...
Yeah, I just felt like they really kind of did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
I've got some old Maiden Guard that I'm very tempted to do something with.
The metal ones here with a spear.
Yeah, I've got 10 of them. So I keep thinking, should I do like do them as like a unit? Could use them as sisters, but could use them as even just Sea Guard, to be honest.
Phoenix Guard, similar loadout. Like Queen's Guard.
Mm.
Yeah.
I do keep thinking an Avalon themed army would be really cool.
Mm.
But I've never really got around to it.
It'd be really cool in the fact that it'd really win because it has the Ever Queen herself.
That's true. She's very good. She is.
She
ready
is
to
good.
go.
She is very good, to be fair to her.
I'm slowly working my way around the donut. I started at Safri, so obviously my next stop is Avalon, and I'm thinking to sort of represent that tree thing is the if you obviously take Lyros, you can take life, and then you can take from the pack the what are they called, the tree, the slime monsters.
Oh, Fembeast.
No, is it Fembeast? It is Fembeast.
Fembeast are the life ones, yeah.
And I think you can. There's like a lot of modelling opportunity there to make them sort of tree or even earth elementally or something like that. To sort of, I know it's a rare. It's taken out of your rare, so you can have less sisters, but it's not that much for a full unit. and it's a big block in the middle, and it's sort of, I think it leans into the theme quite well.
To be fair, I'd describe you as that sort of a player. Is that a fair assessment of you, do you think? Certainly my experience of playing games with you is you do like a thematic army, you do like a kind of that sort of a game. This basing's taking far too long, guys. This is absolutely soul destroying.
Yeah, you're making for it.
But
We'll get there.
I'd certainly say that would be my experience of you. You do like kind of a story behind an army in particular.
Yeah, I've written a. Well, Max has never read them, I don't think.
What's that?
I always send
Wow, you think you know a guy as well.
Yeah, I always send a little.
Come on, you asked to play games with him, you know?
He claims to be very excited about them, but I don't think he's ever actually read. But I do create a little, very nerdy again. I love story time. A little story for all the narrative pack.
I think I've read them.
I take.
Oh, I've read them.
The last one was very good. I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I think you'd be very impressed.
It would just make a change for someone that wasn't me doing it, so yeah, go for it.
I feel like typecasting high elf players now.
Look, it's not other players' faults that we're better.
Yeah, let's tell them.
You can't deny it.
Yeah, Max is a high elf player now.
Yeah, you're a. Yeah, we'll call you that.
How did that work out for you, Max?
Yeah, how did that work out?
Not great. Not great. My first outing. They're just the core choices just aren't Warriors of Chaos.
No.
Don't mess with a staunch line of elf spares.
In my head, you were like, I'm going to charge those Seaguard into that Chimera. They'll sort that right out. What do you mean they're not strength 5 with poison attacks? What are you talking about?
That's just not working out. Yes, I did enjoy the Dragon Prince bust. That was fun.
Dragon Princes are awesome.
They were very cool.
I do think they're overlooked. I really do.
It's because you got white lines, mate.
I'm not at that part of the donut yet, though, am I, mate? So
You're one step up from Trace, aren't you? Or is that?
I'm not going through the mountain. That would be ridiculous. Come on.
I've got to take it. I've got to take that path as nature intended.
I think there gates though that you could cross.
There absolutely are, but I'm not taking them. I'm going on a pilgrim's journey with Teclis. He's just going. He's doing the rounds. High Loremaster Helloeth. That's a different game.
Hello.
He's gonna go trotting around the night. So obviously I'm starting a safari, going around the inside of the donut. I imagine I'll have to stop at Lothern, which is a bit of a ball ache, but then I'll go back on myself because I'm not going to Cathedral and all that. Because what am I going?
Teclis is actually from Cathedral.
He is, but unfortunately he is currently High Master of Hoeth of Safari, isn't he?
Lord Master of Hoeth, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So currently, that's where he's residing. His brother obviously is wherever
he hangs out in Eotane. Yeah, he loves a bit of Lothern. Does Tekla? Does Tyrion?
I heard he spent a concerning amount of time in Avalon. Though.
He is the champion of the Everqueen, so that would be absolutely his right and the correct thing for him to be doing.
Champion? Is that all he is?
And it's perfectly legal.
I mean, in the first year, it wasn't.
It's perfectly legal now.
Everyone knows that he is the champion, and any other suggestion is just salacious gossip.
And he'll kill you.
That's slander, and he will take you to court, and he will win.
Yeah?
By court, you mean a trial by combat?
He's got a bigger sword than you.
Because he will opt for trial by combat and chop you in half, because he's a beast.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Obviously, this gives me the issue that after Calador, I have to go to Tiranoc, which is just disgusting.
It's just a place for horses, mate.
Like, what am I going to... What, chariots? Come on. We're better than that. It's like...
Units of Tyranno chariots, mate. Come on, this is what you want to take.
I mean, that's what's going to end up happening, because I've got a bit of a
When
problem.
you get to Lothern, you could do some Skycutters. I hear they're very good.
Yeah, only £110 each.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yikes.
So maybe I will go there last and hope that they bring them back in the future.
Well, they've shown pictures of them off Games Workshop, so I would suggest that they are going to make a resurgent appearance, shall we say.
For the longest time, I hated that model. And then by the time I discovered, no, actually, I love it. It's fantastic. A lot of people are very angry right now. Can't get it.
I've always said I think it's a good model. I didn't like some of the kind of the stuff I heard them talk about around the design of it, in terms of like their vision of like it in the fluff. I didn't like that very much, but it's got some fantastic art in the book as well that's associated with it. It's a really great model, and what I like about it is there's not really any models like that in Warhammer. That's the only one that's like that, and I think it's nice when they get something really unique like that going on.
Yeah, definitely. Especially for elves who deserve everything special and unique.
Because they are.
Because you don't have anything else unique, do you?
Oh, sorry. Well,
Look, when you need help, who do you call?
Exactly. Yeah.
I
So
call-
you're a caveman from the north
I call the Chaos Gods.
with a big sword. And how does that work?
And how's that worked out for you?
We won.
All right, but
We won.
We're ignoring that.
Did you win?
You won.
You won and Warhammer lost. Just think about it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, victory over death. Or both.
Both. Both is what happened. You think your little caveman survived? He didn't.
My big caveman did.
Okay, yeah, well, sort of.
Death is nothing compared with vindication.
Exactly. That's again different system.
Different system, but doesn't matter.
It's
Oh,
vampire-esque. It counts.
This is just a mess.
Mm-hmm. So, we
Are you still painting? I'm very concerned that you're still painting.
I'm washing.
That's as bad as painting, right?
I don't I classify washing as the final stages. That's where it seals everything
Okay,
in.
there's. We can.
Oh, guys, I am going to teach him how to dry brush, I promise. We are going to make his models not look dark for everything, I promise.
I think
He's
so.
going to hate me for it,
Yeah,
but
playing-
I'm going to get there.
Fluorescent armies, though, do you?
His corn demons are so nice.
That's because that was just an accident.
Happy accident.
It was just a happy accident that they look that bright. See that corn demon prince over there. If I wanted to do with him, I wanted to not put the chest plate on him. Just a bare chested, just big old red chest
There's
running
your
around.
big pecs under there.
He's got big pecs and a massive hole in the chest where that chest plate slots in.
Oh,
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
cannonball.
That's his charm shield, it just goes straight through. Joke's on you. Got no body there, you can't have it.
But yeah, so that corn demon prince is probably the only finished one I've got so far. Yes, that's the only demon prince I've actually fully painted myself.
Really?
The green one I've had for so long was painted by someone else because he wanted to take it to an event.
Yeah, that's true. I knew that. I thought you'd painted some of the others, though. Because you've bought like 9,000 of that new demon prince.
I bought 2. I got my Slanesh one, which is
Very
halfway.
Sorry, I oversold that, didn't I? I thought you bought more than that.
I mean, I want to buy one more because I want the barbershop quartet of demon
They're
princes.
so nice, though. I can't knock that model. It's a fantastic figure.
And you can do a lot with it. So you do end up with 4 demon princes that do just look
It
massively
fits on the
differently.
base really nice as well. You're not stretching or straining to get it all in and done. It's just great. I really, really hate this type of basing.
Yeah, why haven't you upgraded to the, which I think is fantastic, the Citadel Snow? Not sponsored, obviously.
Well, the texture paint.
Yeah, I tend to use that rather than mixing it
It's
up.
really
now.
good.
Just dripping the stuff over the top, but that's just laziness really because I can't be asked to make it.
So 'cause I don't like. I used it a few times on my Tyrannus, but I didn't like the way it turned out. It's one of the things I just didn't enjoy. I just didn't like it. I didn't know
Were
way
you
it worked.
painting it on though, or were you slopping it on?
scraper.
Because I think like that's something I see so much is people just paint that stuff on and they're like,
I was
"Oh, it
using the
just
paint.
looks
I think
rubbish."
at that point in time, I was using the paintbrush.
I'm like, you that's something that really, I see so many people that are like, it's just rubbish. You're like, it's because you've painted it on. You've got to kind of scoop it on.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very much, it's very, you do spend a bit if you use that.
Oh,
But
definitely,
I
yeah.
do like the fact that it's pre-made and it saves me so much time.
There are
So
alternatives out there that come in bigger vats, does a similar job. So if you wanted to do a large amount of models, you could definitely shop around.
Just base in general is just the thing I hate the most about painting, or actually getting the arms ready.
he doesn't like painting, so
I like my painting itself. I've had to get used to the idea of painting, since it's the only thing I pretty much get to do with my hobby. No, I will beat this drum again. I don't get to play as much.
We're playing today.
I am playing today. The first time I've played on Take the Crown since Beastmen vs Dwarves.
that infamous game.
Did you win that one?
Spoiler alert for those who haven't watched it. By the skin of my teeth.
It's very impressive.
Some big dice rolls in that game.
There was some
Stunning.
big dice rolls and a big amount of pork.
Oh, is it the big pigs?
It was the big pigs. That was their first outing. There was 12 of them.
Bloody hell.
Wasn't the full pressure.
Wasn't the full pressure. I used the majority of the pressure against James in a walkout, so I used 16 pigs.
Yeah.
Two units of 8 though. And we had the infamous pig. Sorry, no, I used 17 because I had a singular pig run down the side, didn't I?
Yeah.
I had 17 pigs on that table.
He's been outcast from the pack.
He had to be, mate. He was ostracised.
Babe, as I called him.
He tried to get big for his boots and it didn't work out. And that was the birth of the infamous pig dart, wasn't it?
Infamous.
The pig dart.
Yeah.
2 wide, charging through, straight into some sword masters.
That's a huge error from me in that game. I'm still not over it.
You'll never be over it.
Still not over their mistake.
Nothing beats Swordmasters.
No, they didn't beat the Swordmasters.
No, they just killed Teclis because I didn't use.
Oh, that happens to me all the time. I felt such an idiot.
Yeah, because I just needed to use smoke and
This
mirrors
thing,
to prevent it.
the Fat Boy Chariot. I don't know if you see it. The Gorbeach Chariot. Ted Stark out there. His Gorbeach Chariot has many times found his way to Teclis, his little soft underhide. And
How did he get to it?
it just does it. I don't know. It's a chariot. You just wiggle about and just you don't get a lot of elves to get in the way. Usually by that stage they're dead.
I mean, it's because you don't take many Reavers, mate.
I didn't own any.
Exactly. I mean, that was your issue.
I hadn't got to.
That's
I haven't
challenging.
got there yet.
It's challenging to take some if you haven't got any.
Yeah.
Although I thought I spied some.
I've got them now. I'm sort of jumping the gun a bit, but I feel like I've got 20 Sisters painted from Avalon. I feel like I can go a little bit around, dip my toe in Illyrian.
Sometimes people send messengers and they just want to hang around.
Yeah, and I hated those models for again. This is a big
Did
thing.
you?
Yeah, but then I really looked at them for the first time, and I was like, oh,
Is
actually,
that the Plastic Island of Blood ones?
Yeah.
I had a very similar feeling with the Swordmasters.
Mm-hmm.
Never really liked them, and recently I've given them kind of another chance. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I think I was overly harsh on these.
Yeah.
And I have been sort of looking at some with a little bit of hobby sort of energy, shall we say?
Yeah, I feel like there's maybe a little bit of bias in me for starter set models.
Oh, the Golden Age of starter sets.
Yeah, where I see so many of them, or I see them all the time at when I used to frequent Games Workshops. I'd always see the Swordmasters, the Reavers, the Sea Guard, and I didn't like any of those models because of it.
Yeah, that can put you off,
Mm-hmm.
I think, when you see them all the time, and particularly if they're not sort of well loved. I saw a guy at one of our events, and I'm really sorry, I've forgotten your name, I'm so sorry. And he had really beautifully painted ones of the Swordmasters, and I think that was what made me go back and re-examine them, because I was like, those are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what else was in his army?
Some Phoenix Guard. It was a classic white and blue army. Some Phoenix Guard.
Was he the one best painted?
Yes.
That's Adam Knight.
Yeah, there you go. Apologies, Adam.
I
Beautiful.
believe,
army.
I believe, if I can remember your name, is Adam Knight.
Yeah, beautiful. Apologies. Beautiful army. Really made me want to do something again. Right, look, Max, I've run out of basic material, so let's see it's over.
What do you mean run out of base material?
Alright, he's lying, is what he's saying.
No, I'm going to have to make more. Not lying, I've got to make more. I don't want to make any more.
I don't want to do this anymore.
No, I don't. I didn't sign up for this today. I signed up to paint a yellow dragon. That's what I'm here
Well,
for.
just imagining my appreciation when it's all done.
Does your appreciation go a long way?
So is your high elf army obviously is really on the growing phase at the moment.
Yeah, but I do have an issue where it will never stop growing. I don't know when to stop, usually.
Don't know when the chill out.
Yeah, which is probably why it's good that I don't own so many armies, because it would just balloon.
I mean, you'd be bankrupt, mate.
Well, there's that. That's,
well,
Financial issues arise.
is he
that's also
spending
true.
less though than like me getting 5,000 points of 6 armies or 8 armies? You know what I mean? Him having.
You got to think, especially with this sort of game. Like the more you get, like say you get more core, that's more points you can have in lords. So they all come. This could be a 200 something point lord. That's easy points. Whereas if you're building an army from scratch, you need to buy core 6 times. And it's.
Yeah, I do
adds up.
think it grows well actually. That in fantasy sort of. It's one of those games where you do look and think. I don't know. Recently, I have been getting to a place where I'm like, I've got more knowledge, and that's a really weird place for me to sort of find myself in. But
When those questions do arise, there's always one person you can turn to. One person who will always spend money on plastic soldiers.
Yes.
Me.
Yes.
What percentage of both of you toys do you think is actually fully painted? Well, let's say fully. We'll say tabletop.
Can we pick a game system? Because that will make me feel better about my life.
We'll say absolutely Warhammer Fantasy.
Oh goodness.
Could have picked Lord of the Rings there, couldn't
Could have. I would have been in a better shape. I still wouldn't have been in a good shape.
In terms of mine, a lot of it probably is painted now because of the channel. I've had to force myself to paint a lot of it.
You must be enjoying some aspect of the hobby.
I'm enjoying contrasting.
Oh, it's fantastic. You see it, and it goes into little cracks. And you're like, oh,
What I do enjoy though, I enjoy gloss varnishing contrast.
gloss varnish. I wouldn't
He's
even touch
absolutely
it.
fell in love with gloss varnish on black, haven't you?
On black I have, yeah.
I like a satin varnish, but I wouldn't go so far as a gloss.
When you do like when you spray something silver, do the contrast on that contrast red, and you gloss it.
Mhm.
It springs up like the sparkle of silver underneath it.
like a sort of candy.
Yeah.
Sort of
Yeah. Yeah, it does look nice. That's really nice actually. I forgot about that.
Which is how my Chaos Swords are painted, and how they're going to be the ones getting rebased soon enough.
My vampires are not the worst for my paint ratios. I reckon I've got at least half of them done.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more. I've got a lot, but I've got a lot painted. Like a lot painted. I've got very little core outstanding. No, that's a lot. I've got probably 50 or 60 zombies, but and maybe 20 or 30 skeletons. But I've got a lot of. I've got like 80 skeletons painted, 60 or 80 ghouls. I've got a good amount there. High Elves is an absolute car crash, really. I'm not going to lie to you. If I've got a quarter of it painted, I've had a good day. I do have about 16,000 points though, so I'm gonna. We did something. We did a game a couple of years ago. How many points was that when we went down to?
Norfolk.
Norfolk. We went up to Norfolk for that.
That
was big.
I'd say about 5,000 points.
Yeah,
each.
and I think almost everything I took was painted. A very small amount wasn't painted. I think it was a silver helm or two.
Yeah.
And I think it was about it actually. Yeah. So I did well there. So I'm probably underselling myself. I've probably got about a third of that painted. Tomb Kings, maybe a third. It gets worse. Demons of Chaos, maybe a third. But it's very small. Warriors of Chaos, like 5%.
Yeah.
If that, nothing really. It's not a huge army though, but I've got almost nothing painted for it. So pleased I sold the Bretonians. I feel good about my life now. My Empire's not awful, but it's not great. It's probably half. Yeah, not gonna lie to you. Not feeling good about my life choices. Wood Elves probably half. Actually, thinking about it like this made me feel a bit better. I thought it'd sound worse than it does, but it's not good, Kyle. It's not good. How about you?
I get in there. I've got. I think I've got 10 Dragon Princes left for my High Elves, which takes me up to 35.
Those are rookie numbers.
35 painted.
To be fair, I don't think I own quite 35 anymore. I did, but I sold Max some actually, and I did get rid of a few. So
it's worth getting rid of. I do look at mine that are on paper and like, oh, that's sort of hobby money there.
That's a lot of money right there.
I sold Kemrian War Sphinx because I had 6 and I just felt that was like excessive, really.
Yeah.
I sold a War Sphinx and that was ridiculous amounts of money that people wanted to pay for that. I was absolutely stunned.
But they paid for it though.
They did. And I sold a Sky Cutter because I've got 4 now. I had 5.
Very upset.
That was in a box and that was a good amount of money. I think I got 75 for that, and that was like quite a while ago now. That was like 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah, that went and it went like off the shelf as well. Like it was up for like 10 minutes and it was gone.
Yeah,
so,
I could believe that, definitely.
So
for High Elves, it's not much. It's like those Dragon Princes. I've got a couple of Phoenixes I need to dry brush about 15 times. These 2, and that's it for High Elves so far. Obviously, I'm adventuring around like I keep saying.
So you're adding at the time.
There will be So I'll have to somehow get Tyrannok chariots because that's all that comes from Tyrannok, really.
I mean, they'll bring them out when the old war comes out again.
Yeah.
If you can hold off on your tour.
I sort of make a diversion. I could head to I could go pick up Eltharion.
Reschedule those tour dates, yeah.
Yeah. If I go around that way, hit the white lines first, then I'll start winning games. For High Elves, that's it. Vampires is a very, very different story. Eyes very big for vampires. I've got, the Mortek Guard from the Ossiarch Bowkeepers.
Yeah.
I've done 2 units of 100 of that. I built them.
2 units of 100?
Well, yeah, I built Nagash at the same time. In my mind,
cool.
and also bought some Morghasts, which I took to one of the events this year.
You took
Yes.
paints, didn't you?
Yeah, they did very well.
They're very good.
Yeah. So I took them, and I was like, I love Nagash. And I thought, the Bone Reapers would sort of fit in with them. So I'm sort of doing, and I keep doing this with vampires, like different type of vampires. And I thought this like a Nagashizar themed list.
Cool.
Like this very ancient undead. That's all this sort of esoteric armour from back then. And it looks really good. Obviously not painted, but the gash in the middle, they're two massive blocks of skeletons. And then there's don't get much else in the list, obviously.
How do you find they go on the bases though? Because they strike me as
they
very
fit
big.
perfectly.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they actually come on 25 circles.
Oh, okay.
So they rank up fantastic. In fact, I think they rank up better than the new armoured skeletons.
I've not got any of those because I've got
The
sort
death
of
rattle
100
skeleton,
of
whatever they're
the.
called.
Yeah.
I've got 100 of the old ones. So.
Yeah.
So do you need any more skeletons?
No, and I won't get any. I don't see why I would need to,
I
to
need
buy
more
more.
skeletons.
You have a thing for skeletons, mate, in Graveguard.
I've got 400 skeletons painted. This comes from a time before I owned
And there's me, 80 skeletons painted. Kyle, 400.
Yeah, but they're painted less well. Let's be real. I've really bashed them together quickly, but it's a skeleton. If there's enough of them.
Mine are not painted well.
Well, we'll see. I think I've done all right on them, but I haven't by no means gone over them twice. Let's look just quickly. But 600 skeletons will be sort of. This was prior to me owning a ghoul. So
Owning a ghoul.
So now I own 100 ghouls. So I now need less skeletons in theory.
In theory, but
Because ghouls are expensive.
But there's a really cool ratio out there. Where, I don't know the exact number, but the more skeletons you have means the more Graveguard you can have. The Graveguard are very cool.
How does that work?
Well, you get more points in special, mate. You put down more skeletons, you get more.
we call that the fabled Graveguard to skeleton ratio, or the golden ratio, some might call it.
It's a very perfect ratio that works out every single time.
Well, surely it's. Hang on, we could probably work the ratio out.
If you've got a great weapon, it's like 2 and whatever.
Yeah, roughly
like
2 skeletons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Roughly 2 skeletons for the cost of 1 Graveguard.
So obviously I've got.
And you can have. What, double the number of Graveguard in terms of points as skeletons.
Yeah.
So
You can have a lot of Graveguard.
So it's basically a 1-to-1 ratio.
Pretty much.
So, oh wow, yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, amazing! I'm so pleased with myself.
So currently, I've only got 100 great weapon ones and 100 sword and board ones.
Oh my god!
And only the sword. So 50 great weapon are painted, and then all the sword and board are done. They're finished. But then I thought, there's other cool things like Black Knights.
Black Knights are very cool.
So
I've got none of those.
So I've got a horde of Black Knights, and that takes up a lot of points, as you'll imagine. But when you've got 100 ghouls, it doesn't matter what you do, because you just put more in.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's a 4,000 point list.
Just with
with
ghouls.
100 ghouls.
100 ghouls is 1,000 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's you put in a gash in that. That's easy. Bang, there he is.
Put the gash now. You raise that. You can raise
and then the skeletons turn up. Simple as, really.
James, you thought your vampires were large.
To be fair, my vampires are not. I wouldn't describe them as out of control.
No, you've got
my high elves are huge.
Because I don't own a crypt ghoul either. The big one, crypt
horror.
horror. That's the one. I don't own one of them.
Yeah, the horrors are great. I've only got 8 of those. No, that's a lie.
You got 16 of them.
You got the ogre bull ones.
Yeah, I've got my Zogres. There's 8 Zogres, and there's also I think 9 of the regular ones that I own because they come in boxes of 3. And then I've got some Fargeists as well. Maybe let's say 6 or 9 of those.
I've got 6 Fargeists. I didn't go too much on them because they're skirmish. That'd be ridiculous.
So they don't rank up.
Well, not supposed
Actually,
to.
they rank up alright because they're skirmish. So
Yeah.
they're also very much contained within the sort of realms of the 40mm. Them because the wings are all quite upright on them. They're actually quite nice to rank up.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Although
do rank them up. In the actual army book images, they're ranked up like a ranked up unit.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people get confused with.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be because they are a skirmishing
Skirmish
unit.
is very handy on them as well. The vampiric, they sit on a flank. Frenzy can hurt, so if you can sort of skirmish out with frenzy.
But the beauty of that is you can turn to face away from the enemy.
Yep. And he just next turn
and then next turn fly into like a really good position and just declare a charge.
Yeah, a couple of units of them I've never had an issue with. I've rarely faced war machines, I'm very lucky. But I've never had an issue with war machine when I've got those.
To be fair, war machines are a lot less good against an army that doesn't take the Terrorgeists, if I'm honest. Because you don't really take the big monsters for the vampires.
I own
other than the Necrofex.
Yeah, well, I took the Necrofex. That was good fun. Yeah, I did very poorly at that event though. So I feel like that was a
big sad.
I took the big toy, but didn't do very well.
Didn't you fight another Necrofex one go?
No, I wanted to. That would have been cool. We could try and HKB each other.
The Necrofex, you can't HKB each other.
I know.
You do D6
wins. Yeah. So
the hot Necrofex or Necrofex act.
Because you can't scream at each other because you're inside. So you just got to punch each other.
You're basically waiting on each other.
You get D6 +1 attacks or 1 big HKB. So it would have been a slog. And in an undead fight, that's kind of what you want, isn't it? But no, I did play another vampire player. I feel really awful. He charged 2 black coaches into me, and he stepped on them.
Oh, dear.
So he stepped on one, punched the other one.
I mean, he went for it with the 2 black coaches.
He really, yeah, that was. I thought that was really cool.
That's rule of cool.
And he had, to be honest, he did. He killed it the most convincingly with I think it was 3 banshees, and they all just shouted at it and he just fell over because it doesn't get a save against magical attacks, so he just died. They all just screamed at it.
That's pretty impressive from banshees though, because I wouldn't describe them as the most sort of damage dealing unit that has that scream effect.
I think I had 3 wounds left, and he rolled the 13 because I'm leadership 10, so he really got me.
Big
I was like, guess I'll die.
I guess I'll just drop.
Yeah. So
I've enjoyed my time here.
Does it fall over?
My one. No.
Does it fall over just
In game, no.
In-game.
No. I wish it exploded. I played the Scarab recently, the Cambrian War Sphinx, and that does explode.
He's becoming infamous, the Cambrian.
Yeah. I killed that with
Titan.
Master Strike Vampire.
Oh really?
Yeah. It was
wounds.
Yeah, I was playing a narrative game for this pack that you've got now, Arabia Blaze, and I did have a 6 in the little genie dice, and I was like, oh, I want that, but I had to use it before then. And I was really gutted because who takes Master Strike? No one even knows what it is. So
It's a single attack at strength 10, multiple d6?
No,
No,
it's just a single
HKB.
attack with HKB.
So it is.
Okay.
But where the Scarab can't always pick a model to hit, I managed to survive 1 round of combat, and then the second round I got the 6, and I did 5 wounds, finished it off.
We did go down to Club One Night, and James did play the Scarab, killed it, which it killed all James' army.
Yeah,
Yeah, the explosion then killed most of my high elves. I got absolutely mashed. I did have dragons though, so I don't care. But I did win on the mission, because that is the beauty of that pack.
Yeah.
You can get mashed and still win on the missions, which I love. I just love the fact that is... Because that's the whole point, right? It's not about having the dirtiest army list.
Yeah.
We see guys come every year with really strong lists, and they completely dominate their opponents and then lose the game.
I think it really helps out low magic armies as well, because you can just chuck, if you just turn up with, a level 2, or level 1 even, my lord's level 1 for my vampires. You can chuck those at the, chuck a couple of dice at the mission point. They have to get rid of it, or they're going to lose.
Yeah.
It really helps out, even the odds. For
so many people just do not dispel the mission point either.
Yeah.
They just let it go, and you're like, you're missing out here because that's how I'm going to win the game.
I think you got a choice between, I don't know, say you are playing my vampires, and I've been lucky enough to get Van Hels. You got a choice between Van Helsing some Blood Knights into your flank, or me getting a mission point. And suddenly that's like, oh, I don't really like that decision.
I don't want to find that.
And that's what I found in that game, to be honest, as Max was saying, when I played the Titan, I just put a lot of pressure on with my spells and then just saved the mission point as my last spell each time.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, I'll get one. So I built them up, really, and I killed his genie, which was huge.
Yeah.
And he charged my genie with his 1 wound Khemeric Titan, and I survived and killed him.
My genie's alright. He's never survived the game. Poor little kid. But
Poor little genie.
I've tried them all now. I don't know what I'm leaning towards. I like them all, to be honest.
They all bring something different, which I think is well. I mean, that's obviously what we try to do. We know that it's never totally balanced, but that's the point is that no one's spent time trying to make it totally balanced. What we've spent time doing is trying to make it fun and narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, hopefully that. But it usually does reflect to the event.
Yeah, I think people generally do come in the kind of spirit of the thing, and I don't normally use that term like playing the spirit of the game, but I think people do at that event tend to come in the spirit of the games. Please don't think I'm being rude. I'm just desperately trying to get these finished.
I'll take over. Once you've done that one, I'll take over and do my other 23 chosen.
Who has this many chosen?
Me.
I'm a big fan of the Horde as well. I think if you can hoard something, you should.
Hordo chosen.
Carl did once send a really threatening message one time on the group chat. It said, "Max, deploy the chosen."
That was it.
That was always like, oh, it's gonna have to happen. I tried to try.
Why wouldn't you? If you got 50 chosen, you got the opportunity to use it.
I want you to know that if both chosen units roll the Demon Prince at the beginning of the game, I only own one with me at the moment. So one champion's just dying.
I do not have a Demon Prince either with me here. So
Not Pains's anyway.
I haven't even got one here.
You got one here at all?
Nope.
No, that's big sad.
I think you're pretty
big.
You're reaching there, aren't you? If you're gonna roll 2 Demon Princes.
It's 3d6. Get the 2 dice you want.
Okay.
There's a chance.
You know what? There's a really good shot there for pick the 2 dice you want. Don't pick the second Demon Prince and just kill your guy.
True, yeah, you just-
I mean,
Yeah, maybe-
that's
maybe
I know it's a bold strategy, but
Maybe I won't kill my other champion. Maybe not. I don't know. I think Chosen get a bad rap. I do. They are ludicrously expensive.
they're just too many
They're
points.
just stupidly
They're
expensive.
really good. They're just too
You're on the
expensive.
same plane as my Swordmasters as well, because for some reason, for some bizarre reason, we're both leadership 8. Why is
Yes.
that? Why is that?
Yeah, Chosen should be leadership 9.
What do you think a Swordmaster shouldn't?
It's a nerd, mate.
He's
Nerds
up
are
there.
cowards.
To be fair, White Lions are also 8, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
And then
But I
Phoenix
think
Guard
it's
Dragons are 9.
I think it's just trying to create some differentiation because there's
Yeah.
so much of the same. There's so much sort of elite infantry and high elf, but
Yeah.
there's also quite a few different cavalry regiments as well. So.
Mhm.
You're just a big nerd, mate. You go back to your books.
He's studying the way of the sword.
It's not on the way to samurai. The way to swordmaster.
Of course, you got to also think that only matters if you're losing a combat.
Yeah.
Which is a bold move, I know, but those done.
Put it on the other 23.
No. I want to leave. I'm just going to leave.
He's going to go home.
So, yeah. There you go. Well, I think on the bombshell of me finishing them and
Done well.
and hating everything that exists about them, and us coming through the myriad of unit sizes that you own.
I didn't want to show off, but I did want to show off.
I didn't want to show off, but I'm going to show off.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I think on that bombshell of not wanting to show off but wanting to show off, really we're just kindred spirits. We are going to leave it there. So thank you for joining us for this instalment of Loose Warhammer with the happiest guest we've ever had. And make sure you check out Max and Kyle's Take the Crown game in a couple of weeks' time. I'm sure it's going to be
Crazy.
yeah, chosen, if you will.
We chosen
By many.
I heard there's a set of siblings coming as well.
Oh, really?
There's a set of siblings.
Yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear. That'll be very painful for you.
For you.
So, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful 4 weeks until we're back here doing this again. Remember to tag your friends and like, subscribe and share. Then head over to triplecrownwargaming.com and become a Knight of the Realm today. What are you doing, mate?
You alright?
Do it for Warhammer!